Greetings, one and all, and welcome to Volume 1, Episode 2 of Team by Team Previews, the all-new original NFL Talk series. Today, we keep things in the AFC East, and we are going to preview the Miami Dolphins. A big thank you to everyone listening to the podcast today. If you haven't checked out Volume 1, Episode 1 of this series, then be sure to do so. We previewed the Patriots yesterday on NFL Talk, so check that out on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Spreaker, NFL Talk with Caleb Steindl. You can find all the podcasts, including the first episode. So, the first volume, as you may have guessed, we're going to keep things in the AFC East. Like I said, breaking down the Dolphins today. And if you recall my last podcast and in the update announcement, I had planned on having these team-by-team previews be originally 5 to 10 minutes long each. And then it switched to 10 to 15 minutes long, and last podcast, it was pushing the limit. 15 minutes, almost exactly. So I apologize for my original assessment, which was inaccurate. These podcasts, since each NFL team has a lot of gold hidden in there that we can dig up, they're going to be a little bit longer than I originally thought. But hopefully you guys will enjoy it. And we're about to kick things off right now. Talk about the Dolphins. I've already wasted almost 3 minutes of the show. So let's kick things off. Like I said last show, Dolphins, one of the teams the Patriots have been holding, my words, at gunpoint throughout the past several NFL seasons. The Dolphins hoping to break the curse of New England and trying to get a division title of their own this year. They cleaned house and brought in a new coach in Adam Gase, who they hoped would be able to give Ryan Tannehill a little bit of boost heading into the 2016 season. Now, a lot of times when a new coach comes into a team, it's difficult for the players on that team to really get a grasp of what that coach will be like when the season begins. However, if you're Ryan Tannehill wondering about Adam Gase, I think that it's time to stop wondering. All right, he can be sure he knows what Adam Gase is going to be like in the 2016 NFL season. He's going to be tenacious. You'd be pushing him to his breaking point. When you have a coach that is throwing bags at you to distract you during plays and putting him in situations such as 4th and 10, usually a punting scenario or a field goal situation, and making him go for it, blitzing him unexpectedly, you know that he wants Ryan Tannehill to be at his best this season. Look, I have confidence that Adam Gase can turn this team around. I'm a Gase believer. I think that Gase and Tannehill is a marriage that's going to work out nicely for the Miami Dolphins. And when you see a guy like Adam Gase that's throwing bags at his quarterback to distract him in training camp, it might come across as odd and possibly detrimental to Ryan Tannehill and his pocket presence and his ability to stay comfortable. But I think he's just trying to warm him up, get him ready. Because the Miami Dolphins have a very tough schedule. I have the schedule in front of me. They obviously play the Patriots twice, 2 very difficult matchups. They're at the Seahawks, at the Bengals, and home to the Steelers. They are also, let me look at some of the other key matchups. Obviously, they've got they play the Jets and Bills twice as well. Those should be rather tough games. They've got the Cardinals as well on the schedule. I'm looking at the easy games that they should win. I'm seeing Browns, Titans, maybe Chargers and Rams. Those are the 4 games that they should win. And even those aren't all gimmies, obviously. They have a very tough schedule. I'll give you my prediction at the very end, but I think this is smart for Gase. not necessarily throwing bags at him, but the idea of warming Tannehill up and preparing him for the 2016. Recently signed Arian Foster will be running alongside Tannehill, as well as Jay Ajayi, second-year man. And it'll be interesting to see how the carries are divided between Foster and Ajayi. For me, at least in fantasy, I'm not drafting either of them higher than a late-round flex option. Jay Ajayi recently missed practice. Actually, just today he missed practice. I'm recording this Monday, August 1st, so by the time you'll get it, it'll be Tuesday. But Jay Ajayi missed practice today with a bone bruise in his left knee. He's only supposed to miss a few days out of Roto World, according to Roto World. But it could develop into a bit more of an issue come 2016. And then obviously we have Arian Foster, who has a significant injury history. Gase planning to use him more as a receiving back. Look, I expect, in all honesty, the carries are going to be split 50-50 most of the year, which is why I don't like either of them in fantasy. But from an NFL perspective, I think we should monitor this very closely, because this will be a running back battle between two running backs that I believe are very capable of carrying a team. I know Jay Ajayi is a little bit undeveloped, and we haven't seen a lot from him. He's still raw yet. But I think Ajayi will be trying to prove himself, and Foster also trying to prove to the Dolphins that they made the right decision in signing him. I expect them to lean more heavily on Foster, but I think that considering Foster's injury history, Ajayi will be used as well as a change of pace back. So I think Foster, maybe 60-40, will be the carry split, the carry ratio, possibly in Foster's favor. But this is going to be one of the predominant themes, the predominant matchups to watch in 2016. The guys that Tannehill is throwing to, some familiar names, but other than Jarvis Landry, some people that we really haven't seen a whole lot of. You got Devontae Parker, guy that we hardly saw any of last season. Parker just finished the year with just 26 catches, 494 yards, 3 touchdowns. It'll be interesting to see him take the field and see how he'll be able to come off of an injury. He's going to enter training camp, according to the Dolphins, 100% healthy. They say he was in and out of off-season practices. And then you've also got Kenny Stills, of course. And I'm not seeing many other people that they're going to throw to. They got Jordan Cameron, who's still in there, which Jordan Cameron is going to be, I think, in fantasy, you could take a chance at him as a late-round flyer. But I think that the Dolphins' wide receivers are going to be looking to Ryan Tannehill to give them a boost and to be that leader, to step up. Jarvis Landry, he's been working out with Antonio Brown and Odell Beckham Jr. in Florida this offseason, which some people may dismiss that as mere NFL noise, but I think it's actually worth taking note of, because Antonio Brown, I believe, the smartest wide receiver when it comes to football, the smartest wide receiver in the NFL. Obviously, Odell Beckham Jr. is just a freak of nature. So him being around both these guys, I think he'll take a step up. Jarvis Landry is a guy I like in fantasy this year. I'm trying to see where he's listed on ESPN's fantasy rankings. Jarvis Landry. Okay, so Jarvis Landry is number 21. I like him higher than that. I think he is a high-end wide receiver, too, because Tannehill's not really going to be thrown to that many other people, and the Dolphins have a history of not using running backs the way they should be utilized, especially with Lamar Miller last year. I expect that to change, but I also expect that to work in Landry's favor. I think that Tannehill will be able to set up some play action then with Arian Foster and Jay Ajayi carrying the ball on the ground. So I expect that will work out well. I like Jarvis Landry this year, and I think that all the wide receivers, the whole receiving core of the Dolphins will need Tannehill to step up, which is why Tannehill is my X factor. This is one of the other staples that we're going to be doing on team-by-team previews. If you remember last podcast, Deion Lewis, rather, was my X factor for the Patriots. So that's going to be one of the things that I give out. I think that Ryan Tannehill is going to be the difference maker for the Dolphins this year. If he can step up and be that leader, if he can be unfazed by the pressure that teams are going to be bringing him, if those bags that were thrown at him during training camp by Coach Adam Gase will work their magic, I suppose, if they'll do their job and get him warmed up, I expect the Dolphins can give the Patriots a run for their money. Especially if they can get a win in the first month when they get to play the Tom Brady-less Patriots in week number 2. They're at the Patriots. That I think will be a telling game. If they can take down their division rival in week 2, division rival that is year in and year out, consistently beat them. If they can beat them in Foxborough, that will be a big statement. And I know the Patriots will be without Tom Brady, but that'll be a big statement. They've got two tough games to kick things off, and are even almost maybe a tougher one in week 4 than they're at the Bengals. But in the first 4 games of the NFL season, they're at the Seahawks, at the Patriots, and then they're home to the Browns, and then they're at the Bengals. There's a good chance that out of the first month of the season, they will come out 1-4. Can Tannehill keep his composure? Can he turn things around? That's going to be key, which is why Tannehill is my X factor. As to the Dolphins' record, simply because of the difficulty of their schedule, I don't expect they're going to get any higher than 500. I think they'll be 8-8. It's my record prediction. I think they'll go 8-8. I think they are going to be pretty much the entire season out of the playoff picture. It won't be because of them in particular. It'll just be because of their strength of schedule. It's poor. They have a very difficult schedule ahead of them. So I think the Dolphins go 8-8. The X factor here is Ryan Tannehill. And another guy that will be very key in the Dolphins' success story this year will be Laramie Tunsil. Obviously the left guard protecting Tannehill's blind side. Keep an eye on Tannehill. Keep an eye on Laramie Tunsil. Because Tunsil, protecting the blind side of Tannehill, is going to be another key factor. Is he going to be able to protect his quarterback? Because if too many defenses can get to Tannehill consistently, Tannehill's going to be shaken. And if Laramie Tunsil can prove himself and protect his quarterback, that'll be a recipe for success for the Miami Dolphins. Thanks for listening to Episode 2 of Volume 1. We stayed in the AFC East, talked about the Miami Dolphins. Don't forget to check out the show on SoundCloud, YouTube, and Spreaker. Also, you can like the show on Facebook. Join the Google Plus community, NFL Talk with Caleb Steindl. We're at NFL Talk with Caleb on Twitter. Tweet the show with any questions you might have. Peace out, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for listening.